Do another book tag for you, and this is going to recap all the books that I read in 2017. And the name of this book tag is 2007 A Year in Review book tag, and this was made by a book to book and a book to book. That's who was created the tag, and it is encouraged that it's basically based on headlines that happened in 2017, and then you choose books. I tried my hardest to not repeat authors, but also to not repeat books in this, so I tried to do one book from each author. I'll let you know at the end of this if I succeeded, but that was my goal. So the first prompt that we are given, and I will have this all linked. I will write up everything on my blog, but I like to do videos, so you guys have another one to watch today. The first ever female doctor, which happened this year, which I am so excited for, and I will definitely have to start watching Doctor Who. And the prompt there was favorite female protagonist, and I chose Ruby from Frostblood. November, right after Comic-Con, and I really wanted to read this book for a while, but I was really impressed by Ruby. She really was such a fun character to read from, and I really loved her becoming a force to be reckoned with, and I really liked that. I thought that also her fire powers and her getting a handle on that was so cool. But I just really liked being in her head, and I'm so excited to read book 2. I definitely want to read it early this year, definitely before Nightblood comes out, but she was definitely a character that really struck me and became one of my favorite female characters that I read this year. There were a couple that were high up there, but she definitely was at the top of my list. GCC Cuts Ties with Cutter. Not quite sure what that is, but the one that they did below it was an author that you have cut ties with, and this has been a long time coming, but I've made the official decision this year that I am not going to read anything else by Stephenie Meyers. I don't care what she writes. I don't care if she writes other genres. I am done. I have never been a big Stephenie Meyer fan, at all, but she really has, it's reached a point where I just don't want to support her. So I will talk about more, but here's a picture. If you don't know what the Twilight book series is, here's a picture. It's also a lot of reasons to do with how she represented her female characters, which I just really didn't support. But also her world building, as an author, just I never really liked, and I thought that it was super weak. So I would much prefer to fill my time with books that have strong female characters, but also engaging and fascinating worlds than struggle through her book. So that's an official choice that I've made, and I will just hear from the ether about anything that she writes. And I listen to a lot of bookish podcasts. I'm sure I will be up to date on the summaries of all her books, but I just don't want to devote any more time to her as a reader. Headline that is inspired or will be reflecting this prompt is the La 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 Land Oscar mix-up, which as a theater person and as a stage manager was probably the most stressful thing that happened in 2017, because I just imagine myself being the stage manager of that show and having to tell the guys on stage that they read the wrong name. Would have been traumatic. So that was a very, very traumatic incident. But the book prop connected to this was a book that surprised you, and I would definitely say it was The Fever Code by James Dash. Enjoy the Maze Runner series. I'm loving the movies that star my heart and my love, Dylan O'Brien. But I really just wanted to finish the series in 2017, and I realized closely before December that I still had not read The Fever Code. And I will admit for his first prequel novel, The Kill Order, was okay. It didn't wow me, but this book really impressed me. I gave it 5 stars. It wound up being in my top 19 books of 2017. Really liked it. I just loved how this book tied everything together. It was definitely my favorite book in the entire series, and I loved how this book really answered all my unanswerable questions and really tied the series together. I would definitely read that book again. It definitely went on my keep shelf because I will be reading it again. Really, really enjoyed it, and I was really impressed by it. I was just reading it to finish up my challenge to myself that I gave myself at the start of 2017, but it really surprised me and definitely became the highlight book of that series by far. Hurricanes and earthquakes, and the prompt is a book that rocked your world. And this literally is no shock if you've been watching any of my videos since April. Gigarella by Ashley Poston. I will gush poetically after I insert a picture. Comic-Con in October, and everyone was waxing poetic about it. And I will admit, I do love a good contemporary, but they normally don't wow me. So I read this book, and it not only wowed me, I was so impressed by it. I became very immediately emotionally connected to all of these characters. I don't cry when reading books. It takes a lot to make me emotional, but I was near tears throughout this entire novel, especially with the relationships between Elle and, Elle and her friend, and Elle and her family. Oh, it was so emotional. So this book definitely rocked my emotions, and I think I read it in like less than 24 hours because I was so emotionally invested in it. But it was a really, really good book, and it was a very, very, it just shocked my emotions. I was not prepared for that and did not go in emotionally prepared. Someone should have warned me. Again, it's all fandom themed, and I'm a fandom geek from way back, so maybe that was why it hit me in the emotions. But it was definitely really good, and I'm really excited to reading more by Ashley Poston in 2018. News related prompt is Louvre Abu Dhabi, and I guess that maybe they opened up a really, really pretty museum in Abu Dhabi. But my cover is probably one of the most stunning covers I've seen in a while, and it's Their Fractured Life by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I read all these books from the library, and I got the last book from the library, and I just literally returned the book to the library and went to go buy my own copy because the cover was so pretty, and I'm like, I need that book for my collection. And then when I met Megan Spooner that early last year, I had her sign it, and now I'm gonna get the other author to sign it when I meet them both at the end of this month. So it's definitely going into my forever collection. It is stunning. I normally don't like covers that have people on them, but I really love this entire series cover. One day I would love to have them all in my collection because they're just so pretty. But these covers are gorgeous, and it's definitely in my forever collection because now by the end of this month it will be signed by both authors. So prompt is the Da Vinci Salvator Mundi sells for $450 million. The prompt that they have is a book. It's a Take My Money book, and this is a series of books, and I would say it's all of the illustrated themed editions for like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, all the Harry Potter illustrated editions, because I literally have like I have like an ebook copy, I have an audiobook copy, I have a physical copy, I have so many copies of these books. But those editions I just need. I need them in my collection because they're so pretty. And I'm just like, Laura, it's like the same story, but the illustrations are just too pretty. I'm still in the process of getting the Fantastic Beasts one because it's gorgeous. But guys, it's literally the same book. So I have a hard time convincing people to get these for me for holidays. Well, you have this story already. It's like your favorite, but I just want the illustrations. I know, I have a book buying problem. We don't need to talk about that. Item is Total Eclipse, and the book prompt associated is a sequel that totally overshadowed the first book in the series, and for me that was One Dark Throne. Dark Crowns, and I thought it was a really good, it was definitely one of my highlight books of 2016 when I read it. But I really love this book, like, even more. And this is gonna be a slight spoiler, but I think you get it kind of at the end of it. There was a lot more like the siblings dynamics changed so dramatically in this book that I just loved it, and I was so intrigued by it and so there for it, and I really, really loved it. And I also love like all the interconnection between the female characters. The book got a little bit darker, a little bit creepier. There was a lot more, backstabbing and political intrigue in this book, but definitely the changed sister dynamics really made this book a highlight for me in 2017, and I cannot wait to read the prequel novel and then also read book 3. But definitely this book definitely overshadowed book 1, but I really love book 1 too. This book was really like a standout for me. So, news making headline is the Muslim ban, and the connection that they made was diverse book, and this for me was Warcross by Mary Lou. Because I feel like it was like a seamless diversity. Like, if you were really not paying attention, it wasn't until you finished the book that you realized, wow, that book was so diverse, and I I really loved it. Like, it was a seamless way to do diversity, and I really liked it. I thought that, the ethnic backgrounds of the characters, the sexual, backgrounds of the characters, everything was so interesting and so unique, and I really, like, loved it. And it wasn't until the end when I actually finished reading Warcrest, I was like, God, that book was super diverse. I've had conversations with people, and they're like, yeah, I guess it was diverse, and then when you, like, break it out for people, you're like, oh, yeah, it really was diverse. So I think the seamlessness of it, and like how I thought the book really reflected real life, and I think all books should be like that. I really liked it, and I'm excited to read book 2 in 2018. Hopefully. The prompt is Italy does not qualify for the World Cup. I guess that this is a very, very big upset in this world of sports, perhaps. But the bookish connection to that is the most disappointing book of 2017, and for me, it was The Darkest Mind by Mindy McGinnis. From Edelweiss, and I have read Mindy McGinnis's other books. I read A Madness So Discreet, and I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I liked it. But I tend to have a very hard time with, like, unlikable characters, and the character in this, Sasha, was super unlikable. I could not see any redeeming qualities within her at all. She didn't get any better as the book went on, and the plot was just weird, and I wasn't sure where the plot was going, and the direction it was going I did not like. So this is definitely my most disappointing read in 2017. I will definitely read more by Mindy McGinnis. I'll probably venture more towards, like, her fantasy stuff, because I've heard that those characters are really good. But she does write a lot of unlikable characters, and this was definitely the one that I did not like the most. So we'll see what happens in 2018 and if I pick up more by her. But right now, this is definitely my most disappointing book of 2017. Prompt for this one is Prince Harry Gets Engaged, and the bookish connection to this is favorite ship, and I really wanted to choose Geekerella for this one, but I'm trying to be good, so instead I'm going to choose The Heist Society by Ally Carter. Series in 2017, and I just loved Kat and her boy throughout all three books. I just loved their relationship and how it progressed, the history that they brought to it, and I just really, really loved their banter back and forth, and it was just such a fun read, and I really loved reading about them. And I still have a novella that's like withstanding that I haven't read through this, but overall this series and this relationship was definitely one of the highlights for me in 2017. And to news is Star Wars The Last Jedi, which I still have not seen, but the bookish tie to that is most anticipated book, and I will admit there was a lot of most anticipated books for 2018, but since Ashley Poston has another one through Geekerella, I am going to do The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I am actually starting this the second I am done with this video. I love Holly Black. I read some of her other series, and she is definitely one of my favorite authors, and I cannot wait to dive into this. Dark Fairies, I am totally there, so I will report back when I am done, but I'm sure I will love it. The reviews on this book are so spectacular, so much so that I ordered a beautiful new copy that is coming to me signed by Holly Black herself, and I can't wait to dive into it. So, yeah. Me for this video. I'm so excited for all the books that I read in 2017, and I'm so excited to see what I wind up reading in 2018. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree with my choices, and I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!